What I am going to do though is pop everything in bags because I don't have fork oil, and I still haven't decided whether or not I'm going to put any new seals and that in it while I'm at it. I mean, common sense would say just strip the entire fork and rebuild it. So leave me with that and we'll be back. If you know me and you've been watching this channel long enough, you probably didn't fall for that. Of course I'm going to put new seals in. But we've got a little bit of an issue in that I don't have any bits. I ordered the parts over a week ago and I'm having trouble getting hold of some. It's kind of partly my own fault because I went to our local bike shop and he said to me, we normally have those in stock. Currently we do not. I'll check with our Tasmanian supplier up in Launceston and get back to you. And I didn't hear back for a day or so, and I rang back and he said, oh no, they had the pressure seals but not the wiper seals, so we've had to get them out of Sydney and they're still not here. So all I can do is do a little bit of prep work ahead of actually getting my hands on the seals, so strip and clean and just get everything ready. I've already been working on the other fork at the same time, so it's at that stage now. So this is the one that had the issue that I pulled apart in the last video, so I'll just keep moving with it. Alright, so if you remember in part one, I stripped this down, cleaned it, reassembled it, and I have also subsequently done that on the left hand fork, but I did something on the left hand fork that I probably should have done on this one. So I'm going to do it now. Just going to put a little bit of Loctite on there, just a tiny drop nut lock. And that should prevent it from unscrewing again. And also, if I ever did need to get it unscrewed, allows me to do that because it's just a medium strength nut lock, which can be undone with hand tools. Right. Just have a little bit more peace of mind now. Okay, pop that back together. Okay. Okay, so let's see if we can get this wiper seal out of here. Came out pretty easy on the other one, so. Then there's a wire clip down in here. Hopefully you can see this okay. There's this wire seal retainer. Then we need a slide hammer, because there's a bush on the end of the inner stanchion tube and it is larger than the seal, so you use that to slide the seal out. Voila. Okay, so what we've got here is the wiper, the seal retainer, the seal itself, a spacer that the seal operates on, then the sliding bush that slides, it's a DU type bush, has an internal coating and slides on the stanchion tube, and this is a bush that has an external coating and slides on the outer tube. It acts against the outer tube. It's got a little slot in it. Seen people use screwdrivers. I'm quite just as happy to use my fingernails to remove it. And these bushes thankfully are in pretty good nick. They're genuine originals, I'd imagine, and they've still got their coating on them, so I'm more than happy to reuse them. Yep, same with the internal. Spacer. Now this gets a bit tricky because these are sharp edges actually, and when you're assembling this you need to put some tape or something over here to protect the seals, but taking them off if you're not reusing them. It's neither here nor there. Oh, just a bit of an inspection of the tube itself, feels all right. I'm going to pop the mudguard brackets off because the material that's in my parts washer doesn't really like nylon. Oh, sorry, nylon doesn't like it. Now, wash. This is 800 grit, wet and dry. I'm just using it to tidy up this end where the bushes were sitting. And I'll just gently run that around the stanchion tube. They're hard chromed. You don't have to be afraid of doing it as long as it's fine, wet and dry, and you're not running up and down like this and scratching vertical scratches into your stanchion tube. This rod came out of the middle of the damper. I'll go and rinse everything off with water, and blow it all dry, and I'll be back. All right, everything's clean and shiny. Just going to slide all this together so it stays safe, and put it aside for now. Right, well, technically, there's nothing else I can do on the forks now until I get my parts. But there is another job we can do. Replace the rotors on this wheel. However, the plot thickens. Yes, I know you shouldn't sit it on the rotors, but I'm not reusing these. These are getting a bit worn, and I want to give the bike, the front end of this bike, the best chance it's got. But I ordered a set of wheel bearings for it, and it came with seals. But the only problem that I've got is the ST3 never had a speedo drive. So this front wheel is off some other bike. In fact, I think what I think's actually happened here is there's probably been an accident and they've replaced the forks and the front wheel. I suspect it's ST4. It's quite possible that the shocks are ST4 as well, I mean the front forks. However, I was pretty sure that ST4 had adjustment on the bottom for the compression damping, but if anybody has any ideas, let me know. So yeah, this is the seal and the recess and everything for a mechanical speedo drive, which the ST3 does not have. Anyway, doesn't matter. We'll pop the rotors off, whip the bearings out, put new bearings in, fit the new rotors, and we'll just call that a job. My godfather. There's some Loctite on there, boy. Red in colour, I'm tipping. Buddy. Let's clean the threads out. That's better. I might flip it over and do the other side. All right, let's see if I can extract this with the old slide hammer, as opposed to belting them out. Okay, for future reference, these are 6005, and of course they come down onto that centre spacer. The centre spacer will be precision machined. It will either be exactly the same length, which is probably unlikely, or just marginally longer than the distance between the recesses for the outer ring of the bearing. And the reason for that is that when the axle is all compressed up, the load is put right, a clamping force is put between the inner race of each of the bearings and the centre spacer, and it is all solid on the axle, and it can, if there's any movement that's required, it'll happen on the outer race, so that there's no side loading on these bearings. Okay, new rotors. Now, under normal circumstances, I would be cleaning all of the residue off of these with brake and clutch cleaner. However, it could be a week or two before they go back on the bike, so I'm just going to leave it on for now. When I go to put the bike back together again, that's when I'll clean them and wipe them dry. Right, now, rather than a half a bottle of bloody red Loctite, let's put a drop of blue Loctite. Would have been good to run these on the wire buff wheel, but I don't have one here at work. I've actually, believe it or not, I have one at home. We'll torque them down. And these need to go down to 30 Newton meters. Now, it's quite likely I'll get some questions or comments about these rotors. They're not top of the line, but they're certainly not the bottom of the line junk either. I got them off an Australian company called stop.com.au. S3 Performance. They are manufactured overseas, but they are fully compliant here in Australia, and they claim that they have the right type of quality and control in place. So it's all you can do. And of course, it goes without saying, I've got new brake pads. I actually threw them on the bike and just went for a run down the road at home just to see if it may have just been a pad issue that I was experiencing with the brakes, but straight away I knew it, so that was it, bike off the road. So even though they're brand new, they have been applied once or twice to the old rotors, but I'm not going to lose any sleep over that one. One of the debates I don't ever want to get involved in, and there's numbers of them. Tyre choices, oil choices, brake pad choices. For me, this isn't a race bike, not by any stretch of the imagination. I don't want something that's race orientated, sintered bloody pads that chew your rotors to bits. I much prefer an organic or a blend of organic and sint that gives you good bite, good performance, reasonable wear on the brake pads, and doesn't chew the shit out of your rotors. But that's just me. Right, well that's it. New rotors, new bearings on the front wheel. Forks are stripped and cleaned and just ready to go together with fresh oil. And that brings me to the next problem, I guess. The forks are unknown. I'm not 100% confident what bike they've come out of. The externals of the fork, and somebody suggested they might have been ST4, maybe the part of the internals are ST4, the tops, etc. But that top tube is definitely ST3. It even has the lines on there for the underslung handlebar positioning gauge. So they're definitely ST3. But the manual says X amount of oil for ST3, X amount of oil for ST3 ABS, which has the top and bottom dampers control on it. There's different volumes for different things. And that leaves me with my next problem. How much bloody oil do I put in them?